What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Eric Jenkins Disc Golf, and I've been playing disc golf for 20 years. And recently I hurt my shoulder and been throwing left-handed, and that got me to thinking, if I had to start disc golf all over again, what would I do? So if you're a brand new disc golfer and excited to get started, then this video is for you. Today we're gonna go over 5 different things that I would have done differently if I was to start disc golf right now, knowing what I know from the 20 years that I've been playing. So tip number 1 is, when it comes to discs, less is more. You can really get by with about 5 discs. I would suggest getting 2 of the exact same putter so that when you're practicing putting, you are putting with the same exact disc. A lot of beginners kind of mess this up and they start putting with like a mid-range or just whatever disc that they have. Getting comfortable with a putter and having 2 of the same putter can really help with your consistency when you start putting. The other disc that I would recommend is just a neutral mid-range. So something like a Buzz SS or a Mako, something like that, that is very neutral. Those are more technical terms that you will slowly learn as you play disc golf. And then into like your fairway drivers, I would go for a slower speed, understable fairway driver, something like an Underworld, this Pipeline, anything like that. If you guys want me to do a video on what the flight numbers mean, let me know in the comments and I'll try to get that video out. And then the fastest disc, the most overstable disc that you're gonna have in your bag would probably be something like a T-Bird or this Assasin. And these are like a 7 or an 8 speed, and they're yet again that neutral flight. It's okay to get out and try different discs, but once you start playing kind of regularly, I would only keep about 5 discs in my bag and kind of learn how those fly. And the reason that I suggest throwing something more neutral is it's actually gonna show you kind of how you're throwing. So if you throw nose up or too much anhyzer or too much hyzer, those are terms that we'll learn about in a separate video, but it's gonna show you what you're doing to the disc. So if you throw flat and straight, it's gonna go flat and straight, especially the Buzz SS. Biggest training tool would be this Buzz SS, because you can throw it any angle and it's gonna hold whatever angle you put on the disc. I'll leave a list of beginner-friendly discs in the description of this video for you guys. The second thing, and probably one of the most important parts of your game, is putting. Before each round of disc golf, I like to get out and putt about 10 or 20 minutes just to warm up my putt before the round. And I also get in kind of like a bonus round of putting practice before I play. I do this every time that I play. No matter how much of a time crunch I'm on, I would rather get in my 30 minutes of putting and have to skip maybe the back 9 than to jump out of the car and play 18 holes as fast as I can. I have an entire video on putting, but the basics is you want to have a putt that is very center with the basket. So you want the disc to not really leave this line of the basket. Even if you're a spin putter, you want the disc to be very straight and kind of hit in this sweet spot, which is kind of upper right-hand pocket. Some baskets are different, they catch a little different, so you'll have to experiment on your own baskets at home and your home courses to kind of see how they catch. I do have a putting video on the channel that breaks down how to putt in a little more depth than we're gonna go over here. The key takeaway from this is to just get out and putt before your round. Start out close and work your way back. So start out 10 feet and then go to maybe 15 and 20 feet. Anything beyond 30 feet is kind of a bonus putt. Your players on tour and your professionals, they're gonna be aiming to make quite a few 40-footers, but starting out 10 and 20 footers will change your score dramatically. Just keep in mind that starting out, your putts are gonna be a little shaky. 10 footers, 20 footers are the goal. Anything past 20 feet is gonna take some time and some practice. So don't get discouraged if you miss a few putts. You have to miss a few putts to learn how to make a few. Another major thing that I didn't do when I first started playing disc golf was try to learn how to throw a proper standstill before learning a run up. Learning a proper standstill can train your upper body before you kind of complicate things with your legs. Gannon Buhr has a ton of great videos on proper form. He's a touring pro, probably one of the best disc golfers of this current generation in the sport. So check his channel out. I'll have it linked in the description below. But here's the basics of a standstill from my point of view. So with a standstill, what I like to do is get my feet kind of shoulder width apart, and this left foot, you want it to be back just a little bit for a right-handed throw. And my feet are still trying to point straight forward. So with my feet set, now we're gonna start the disc. I like the disc to be in a 90-degree angle, just like this. So you're creating a big box here and keeping this part of your hand and wrist on the back of the disc parallel from your chest. So if you do this, this is wrong, and you're gonna be throwing nose up by doing that. I struggle with that still. So this elbow is up, this is making a giant box, and then to start the throw, all you're doing is rotating your hips away from the target and extending this arm straight out. And then to complete the throw, you're doing the exact same thing, just in reverse. So you're pulling back, letting this create the box again, rotating all the way towards the target and extending back out again. So it looks something like this in slow motion and goes extend, in, out. All of this is a fluid motion. And you want to let this left side come through. Lower body within that is actually what starts the throw. So you would rotate back and drive with this left hip to get the throw started. That's why I say a standstill is perfect to start out with, because it allows you to slow everything down and work on proper form. You can get this comfortable, because this is kind of an uncomfortable stance. You're kind of like bear hugging the disc. And then eventually you get it smooth. And as the great Danny Lindahl said, smooth as far. Another thing that makes a pretty big difference and could save you a few discs is start out with Fieldwork and play some easier courses. Not telling you not to go out and play disc golf. I want you to get out and enjoy the sport and fall in love with it. So look on UDisc. That's going to be an app that you can use to find any disc golf course in the world, really. Look at a few pictures of the course before you go and see how wooded it is. You really want to find a course that doesn't have a whole lot of rough or a whole lot of trees. Most of the time, those will be pretty high rated because people don't like playing in the rough so much. But look at the pictures that are on UDisc and try to find a course that's kind of more wide open to have your first couple of rounds of disc golf. Locally in Kentucky, we have the Bullitt County course that's in Shepherdsville. That is a great beginner's course. A lot of times your 9-hole disc golf courses are gonna be more beginner friendly and more tailored to new players. But if you don't have those kind of courses, get out into a field and practice that standstill shot that I just demonstrated for you guys. I promise it will make a ton of difference once you start playing tougher courses. I'm throwing left-handed, so you may have to give me a little bit of grace compared to what I could do right-handed, but I'm gonna demonstrate that standstill shot for you guys and kind of what I would do in Fieldwork. So I've got a little bit of a hill right here in front of me. We're actually out at Freeman Lake, so there's not much of a field here. This is more the open holes that we have. What I would do with Fieldwork is I would throw one disc to start with. So lefty, I would have this left foot leading the shot, right foot kind of staggered behind it. And then to get the rotation, it's gonna be with my hips, and you just open your arm up. So like, you don't want this shoulder to be pinched. Like, you don't wanna reach and be reaching so hard that this shoulder gets squished. Some of that comes down to being limber, and I'm not. Just like this, extend, back to 90, back out. Just like that. And preferably, if you had enough of the same disc, what you would eventually do is you would throw the next buzz the same way and try to get it to land on top of the one you just threw. So let's try again with an Assasin. Same thing, I'm gonna try to throw this a little higher, so I'm gonna bend more at my waist to get the height. And that's gonna be pretty close to the same spot. Probably 150 feet, but it's my offhand, so. Fieldwork is a good way for you to go ham on a disc. Throw it as hard as you wanna throw it, and you don't have to worry about where it's landing. You don't have to worry about losing it. It's a wide open field. You can go all out in the field. I swear I didn't plan that out, guys, but look at this. Now, if this was the basket, I'd be able to make that putt. So that's the goal with Fieldwork. Set up a bag. You can even get a portable basket. I'll have that linked in the description as well. But set up a target kind of in a wide open field and work on that accuracy, getting the disc within 10 or 20 feet. And then that's where your 20-foot putts come in. If you've worked on those before your round and gotten your 20-foot putt pretty solid, then you're gonna start making a lot of pars and potentially a lot of birdies out on the course. And one of the things that helped me the most was joining a local league. Get on Facebook, type in disc golf, and then type in the biggest city near you. And a lot of times you'll find a disc golf group that you could join that has a local league. You get to play with more experienced players, and you might make a few friends from the league, and that's what disc golf is all about. The community of disc golf is so great. There was a time when I was first starting to play and wasn't really sure that I was gonna stick with it. I have ADHD pretty bad, so I tend to migrate from hobby to hobby. But I joined my local league and I met a family of disc golfers there that took me in and treated me like one of their own. I had people giving me tips and tricks. We even have a touring pro that's kind of local to our area, and he even gave me free advice to learn how to start playing disc golf and to enjoy the sport. Without that group of guys, that group of friends, I don't know that I would still be in disc golf today. So finding a local league is very important. It's very fun. You get to, a lot of times they'll do doubles, so you'll get partnered up with someone that's been playing forever, so you get a lot of tips from them. But it also just makes the game more fun and introduces you to a whole world of people that are just amazing. Let's try the buzz. Trying to bend at the waist to give it height. I'm right-handed, so that brings me to the next point, and that is just to have fun when you're out playing golf. Unless you're trying to become the next 6-time world champion, then disc golf is just a great way to get out in nature, get in a few thousand steps, and just enjoy life, guys. I'm gonna do a standstill with this buzz, try to get it to kind of fade in there, maybe a little Anheuser. Yeah, that'll work. Woo. That's actually a pretty touchy shot left-handed. All right, pretty long putt here for Lefty. Oh, and see, that's what I'm saying. Starting out, you're not gonna make every single one of those, but I'm throwing with my offhand, pretty well proper form on my offhand. So usually I would be in here for probably a pretty easy putt from this distance because I've practiced putting with my right hand for 20 years. Oh. Or it just kicks it straight out. And then there's sometimes you do everything right and the basket just says, not today. Warming up before your round, getting those putts confident where you feel like you can make some putts. That'll make a whole lot of difference once you start taking the game pretty serious. Putting is one of those things that's not glamorous, but it is glamorous on the scorecard because making this putt makes all the shots leading up to it count. Starting out, I would just go for 10 out of 10 from 10 feet, 6 out of 10 from 20 feet. That would be my goal through training and working on your putt. I'm gonna leave a beginner's playlist on the screen right now, And if you enjoyed this video, be sure to share it to a friend that could use this information that's just starting out playing disc golf. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. All those things help out the channel tremendously. It's 90 degrees today. I'm sweating my butt off, but I decided to get out and try to make this video for you guys. Have a great day. Stay in the fairway, guys. Stay cool outside.